What if I told you that being poor is actually more expensive than being rich? It sounds strange at first, but when you look closely at how money, stress, and decision-making work together, a deeper reality starts to appear. Poverty is not just a lack of money. It is a system that quietly affects how a person thinks, chooses, and lives every single day. When someone is constantly worried about money, their brain doesn't function the same way. This is often called the scarcity effect. Imagine your mind as having limited space or bandwidth. When financial stress fills that space, there is very little room left for planning, creativity, or long-term thinking. Research has shown that stress from scarcity can reduce cognitive ability significantly, almost like temporarily lowering your IQ. It's not that a person becomes less intelligent. It's that their mind is overloaded. Instead of thinking about the future, investments, or opportunities, they are forced to focus on immediate survival. Questions like, how will I pay this bill? Or, what will I eat today? Take over. In this state, long-term decisions suffer, and that keeps the cycle going. This leads to another harsh reality. Poor people often end up paying more over time. There is a simple but powerful example known as the boots theory. A person with money can afford to buy a high-quality product that lasts for years. Someone without money is forced to buy cheaper alternatives that break quickly and need to be replaced again and again. Over a long period, the person who spent less initially ends up spending more in total. This is not just about shoes. It applies to appliances, education, health, and even financial choices. When you cannot afford quality, you end up paying the price repeatedly. In this way, poverty becomes expensive. At the same time, stress pushes people toward short-term relief. When life feels heavy, the brain looks for quick ways to feel better. This is where the dopamine trap begins. People start spending money on things that provide instant pleasure, new gadgets, expensive food, or unnecessary shopping. It feels good for a moment, like a temporary escape from reality. But that feeling fades quickly, and the financial situation often becomes worse. The real difference lies in how money is used. Some people spend money to feel better in the moment, while others use money to build freedom for the future. Pleasure is temporary, but freedom, having control over your time, your choices, and your life, lasts much longer. Unfortunately, when someone is stuck in survival mode, it becomes very hard to choose long-term freedom over short-term relief. Another trap that keeps people stuck is the way they earn money. If income depends only on time, like a job or daily labor, there is always a limit. There are only so many hours in a day. No matter how hard someone works, they cannot go beyond that ceiling. This is known as the linear income problem. To move beyond it, a person needs to increase their value, not just their effort. One effective way to do this is by combining different skills. When someone learns multiple skills and uses them together, they become unique and harder to replace. For example, a person who understands communication, editing, and marketing together can create far more opportunities than someone who only has one skill. This combination increases earning potential and opens doors that are otherwise closed. However, even when someone tries to improve, their environment can pull them back. There is a phenomenon, often compared to a bucket of crabs. When one crab tries to climb out, the others pull it down. In real life, this happens through people, friends, relatives, or social circles that resist change. When someone starts thinking differently, trying new things, or aiming higher, they may face doubt, criticism, or even discouragement. Not always out of bad intention, but because change is uncomfortable. This social pressure can be powerful enough to stop progress. Growth sometimes requires stepping away from negative influences and surrounding yourself with people who support improvement. In the end, the biggest difference between those who struggle and those who grow financially comes down to how money works for them. Many people spend their lives paying interest on loans, credit, or debt. Others learn to earn interest by investing and letting their money grow. This is where the idea of compounding becomes powerful. Money, when managed wisely, can start generating more money on its own. But reaching that stage is not instant. It usually follows a path. First comes survival, where the focus is on controlling expenses and saving whatever is possible. Then comes accumulation, where savings are turned into assets, skills, investments, or opportunities that can grow. Finally comes freedom, where those assets begin to generate income, reducing dependence on active work. Breaking out of this cycle is not easy, but it is possible. It begins with awareness, understanding that many financial struggles are not just about effort, but about systems and patterns. Small changes in thinking can lead to different decisions, and over time, those decisions create a different life. Focusing on long-term thinking, building valuable skills, making smarter spending choices, and choosing the right environment can slowly shift the direction. The journey from survival to stability, and from stability to freedom, is gradual but real. In the end, the goal is not just to earn more money. It is to build a life where money no longer controls your thoughts, your time, or your future.